Hello, I'm Animated Bob. Semi-animated. And what you're about to hear is not the main topic of the video, but just a little preface. The year is 1999 and technology is advancing rapidly. In January, NASA launched the Mars Polar Lander, along with the release of the BlackBerry and the introduction of TiVo. In February, Adobe Photoshop 5.5 was put on store shelves, and some boys accidentally set a world record for the longest time in a hot air balloon. In March, we got the first wiki on the web. But what is the web? Microsoft's new Internet Explorer 4.5 will show you. In April, Microsoft's stock rose to insane heights, making Bill Gates the wealthiest man in the world. In May, VMware hit the scene, making virtual machines a thing. Also, kids were introduced to SpongeBob SquarePants on the TV. In June, the iBook G3 came into play, along with Napster, the music streaming service. In July, NASA was at it again with their Lunar Prospector, while Microsoft released the first version of MSN Messenger. On Apple's side of things, however, the Apple Airport was just introduced. In August, Pira Labs launched Blogger, letting everyday people share their experiences with the world. In September, North America was exposed to the Sega Dreamcast and Sonic Adventure. Yep, that's September's highlight. In October, the original Chinese search engine Baidu.com came online, and Grand Theft Auto 2 was born on the PlayStation. In November, nothing technological really happened. Lastly, in December, the beautiful Millennium Dome was opened in London. NASA set the Terra platform into orbit, and Business.com, the most expensive web domain, was sold for $7.5 million. But the most important thing to come out of 1999 was a little baby Bobby. When I was born, modern technology was still in a very early state. That's the point I was trying to get across there. The digitized modern society we have today relied heavily on the technology of the somewhat recent past, which pretty much laid out the foundation for all of this. And that technology was an integral part of my childhood. I remember playing on my old Nintendo Entertainment System as a child and being blown away by it, despite its many limitations. I'd like to point out that I also had a GameCube which I played on a lot, but I still found the NES just as fun. You see, as a kid in the early 2000s, the most modest of technology could give you the best of times. Early technology shaped my life, and shaped me to be the well-rounded person I am. But that just makes me wonder, how's today's technology going to impact the children of today? With all these smartphones being more accessible than ever, and weird moms creating Facebook accounts for their babies, this question's just begging to be asked. Now I know for a fact that you all remember our digital native and digital immigrant debate. We sort of came to the conclusion that we, for the most part, are digital natives after all. But I've got a counter-proposal. When we were all very young, we played with real-world toys and took in the world around us. This new generation of kids are surrounded by all of this technology. It's as if they've been sucked into these devices, and the only thing that could take them out is the work of an outside force. We were here for the early stages of the stuff, and tested them out when they were still small. But they weren't the main focus of our time, and it's because they're born with this stuff is why I'm saying that the infants of this age are the real digital natives, while we, get this, are digital pioneers. So, let's talk about these natives and how we can take their land. We already did that. Wait, really? Yeah, we don't like to talk about it. Never mind, we already did that. So let's just talk about the natives for now. These days, lots of parents are guilty of handing off a tablet or phone to a toddler to keep them busy and quiet while the adults do their thing. And if that's the case, what are the odds of them monitoring their screen time as well? Numerous studies in the last couple of years show that prolonged exposure to these devices is very harmful to the development of infant children. One of the problems that could very well arise from this is screen addiction. If you hand off a tablet to a 2-year-old and try to take it away from them after an hour or two, do you really think they won't start kicking and screaming about it? Addiction of this kind is common in those who've been exposed to this at an early age, and other studies actually revealed that the overuse of digital tablets at these early ages linked to other things like sleep deprivation, desolation, and a severe lack of concentration. That's a lot of shins. But maybe if you expose these digital natives to the technology that we had at their age, when they're the right minimum age of course, then maybe they won't become so addicted to these right, attention-grabbing mobile devices. Let's see what happens when we give this kid a Game Boy and show them the wonders that the years of the past had to offer in the form of harmless, limited entertainment. Now I know what it's like to lose years off your life from stress. Thanks, kid. The next generation just keeps giving back. Okay, so maybe trying to force our technology onto them isn't the best way to go here. So I have a better idea, one that doesn't rely on other technology. If there's a parent with a child over the age of 4, and if that child's holding a mobile digital device, just monitor them. Take a look at what they're doing every couple of minutes. Make sure you clearly set how much time they should have on that thing, and of course, make sure they're not doing anything with it that they shouldn't be doing. Or even better, just take your kids outside. Show them what it's like to explore and interact with this great, wide, wacky world around them. The sooner they interact with their real-world surroundings, the more open and open-minded they'll be later on. Or if you need a cheap fallback, there are plenty of parental control apps out there to make things easier. Bottom line, smart technology like the ones most parents are placing into the hands of their 3-year-old kids will not fare well for their development or their future. And yes, they are the crawling, crying on an airplane definition of digital native, but that doesn't mean they should be exposed to this digital world until they're consciously ready. Until then, take these kids outside and let nature nurture and enrich them and their delicate, easily influenced minds. If, in some drastic situation where the only thing you can give your child is a smart device, watch them like you'd watch an eclipse. Except actually looking straight at it. I don't know, I always watch it through my phone.